What's up, everybody? It's your girl D, and welcome to Bike with D, where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing at all. Y'all, today I wanted to talk about being an overthinker and the impact it has had on my journey while becoming a better version of myself. Yep. But before I continue, as always, make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay? Now, let's talk. So yeah, I really wanted to talk about just being an overthinker and the impact it has had on my journey while becoming a better version of myself. I feel as though I see so many videos and so many people talking about becoming a better version of yourself, but nobody talks about like the bad. And for me, I think the bad is just being an overthinker. And I'm not trying to say being an overthinker is like something rare or there's rarely any people that overthinks. I think majority of the population overthinks. But for me, it's just like, why not talk about it? Because this is one of the biggest challenges for me. I feel like in regards to my journey, it has caused more problems. Let's just say that. So while researching, y'all, because I'm gonna put the definition right here. Okay, I just thought I'd put the definition right here of being an overthinker. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about being an overthinker and the impact it has had on my journey while becoming a better version of myself. But I wanted to start by saying like how it's crazy because some people think that overthinking is like a good thing. And I thought that too. I'm not even gonna hold you. I literally thought that being an overthinker was a good thing in a way. Like I viewed it more of a good thing than a bad thing, because I feel like it was always, there's a negative connotation to it anyways, but I try to view it as a good thing because to me, I was looking at every aspect of a situation. I was considering every outcome or what could happen, what should happen, or what might happen. Like I was just considering all of that, and I thought that was a good thing because I was analyzing everything. But it could actually do more harm than good. And that's so crazy to me because I didn't think of it that way. So while I was researching, I realized that there are 3 types of overthinkers, and we'll see which one fits you. All or nothing overthinker, you have a catastrophizing, and then you also have overgeneralizing. So those 3 types of overthinkers, with all or nothing, they view things as black and white. Like if you're an all or nothing overthinker, you're going to view it as full success or full failure. There is no in between. If you're a catastrophizing overthinker, you're going to think of things worse than what they are. You see it as being worse than what they actually are. And if you're an overgeneralizing overthinker, typically you're going to basing your decisions off of those events. And so to me, I was like, oh, so which one fits me? I had to like pinpoint which one I relate more to in regards to it. I feel like I'm gonna go with overgeneralizing. Catastrophizing, I feel like that's another one that I struggle with a lot of the times. Those are the 3 types of overthinkers, and I was just trying to figure out which one fits me because I want to understand myself more, and in order to do that, I have to first pay attention. And so I realized throughout this entire process that there are people that tell you how to become the best version of yourself, what to do, how to do it, the things you want to cut out, things you want to add in. Things are very informational videos, and I can't hold you. I definitely take some in consideration and even use some of the tips that they give. But the thing is, it's just like, okay, but no one's really talking about it in a standpoint of being an overthinker. Like being an overthinker, you're self-sabotaging, if that makes sense. I feel like as an overthinker, I self-sabotage way more than I should. Granted, I shouldn't be self-sabotaging at all, but as an overthinker, I feel like I do that way more. And some of the impact that it's had on my journey thus far is crazy. These things as an overthinker while becoming a better version of myself is that I am so indecisive. Okay, when I say I am so indecisive, I am super indecisive. As I mentioned in my previous videos, I told y'all that consistency is something that's huge when it comes to your weight loss journey. Anything pretty much in life, anything you want to do in life, I feel like any dream you have, in order to really achieve it, you have to be consistent with it. And I feel like me being an indecisive person makes it harder for me. So it tackles that consistency. So I'm not able to be as consistent because I'm so indecisive. Because when I do decide on something, I end up beating myself up for it and changing my mind and trying to go the other route and be like, okay, this one would be a better decision. And that's an overthinker. And because I'm such an overthinker, it hinders me from being consistent. That's just like with my workout plan, my content creating ideas, my meal prep. all of that. I can literally have it to where I have it set and all of that, but then I start to think, well, was this the right decision? Should I have changed this workout to another workout? And so because I'm so indecisive, it has hindered me so much in regards to becoming that better version of myself, because I can't stay consistent enough. I don't think you can be consistent and be indecisive, because if you're indecisive, you're never going to set your mind on one thing and just do it and make that decision. Maybe I'm just looking at it from one viewpoint, but for me, that's how I see it. I feel like consistency and being indecisive, they go hand in hand. If you're indecisive, you can't be consistent. I don't think you could be as consistent as you should be because you're being indecisive. And some of the things that I've done thus far, being able to practice self-awareness, because I had to first, let me say this, because I don't think I need to make sure I say this. There is a huge difference between overthinking and problem solving. I feel like some people may cross those two and feel like, okay, it could intertwine, like there's a road right there that connects them two, but there's a huge difference between the two, because problem solving is going to lead to productive action. Overthinking is going to lead to more problems and cause more problems for you. That's the huge difference. And you probably like, girl, don't nobody think overthinking and problem solving the same thing or connect? I did. I definitely did, because again, in my head, overthinking was me looking at every aspect and analyzing every situation. And to me, I'm solving my problems by doing that, because I'm considering every aspect. So that's how I was connecting the two. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna just admit it. I'm gonna be honest with myself. I might have been the only one. But I had to realize that there's a huge difference. I'm going to problem solving, I'm going to have productive action. Overthinking, I'm just going to cause more problems for myself, because I'm looking at every aspect of the situation, thinking of the what ifs instead of what I have now and what is occurring now, So back to what I was saying though, self-awareness. Some of the things I've been able to do to practice self-awareness is just being able to make that decision and stick to it. So for me, because I'm so indecisive, I had to figure out a way that I could stick to a decision. It may sound stupid, but one of the things I did was have a little wheel that I spin. It helps me narrow down. I have to just make that decision and go with it, because I'd be so afraid of making the wrong decision. And I feel like it's hindered me so much. And I'm just tired of hindering myself, because at this point, it's me. I'm the reason I'm not where I want to be. Also been able to practice gratitude more. So with my prayer journal, I have a portion in the journal where I'm able to practice gratitude, and I try to do that every day just so I can remind myself, listen, I gotta show compassion to myself. I have to be nice to myself. And so, yes, I'm still a bit indecisive, but I try to be more direct in regards to making that decision. Once I make that decision, I have to stick to it. And so it's just hard for me. It's very hard, but I feel like it needs to be done. And so if you're indecisive as an overthinker, you're going to continuously try to process and try to figure out and analyze every situation, but try to narrow it down to the point where it's just okay, I make this decision and I stick to it. Just stick to it and don't try to think about it. It's hard. I'm not saying that it's not going to be hard. It's definitely hard, but you got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere, and it's better to just start now than continuously going through the process and just being tired of going through that process. And you have to be kind to yourself and show compassion, and you'll go from there. Another way that I've been able to practice self-awareness as well is just having that support system. And for me, it's a little sticky situation, because in my head I would think that, oh no, I'm alone, I don't have anyone, I don't have a support system. But I fail to realize that just because they're not in front of me don't mean I don't have a support system. All you need is one person. All you need is one person. And I'm not talking about financial support. I'm just talking about someone that's just there to just motivate you and remind you, And so I'm lucky enough to have a few people in my life that are able to do that for me, because honestly, I would think in my head, no, I don't have anyone. I can't rely on anyone. I can't ask for help. And that was my biggest problem. I don't know how to ask for help, but I'm working on it. And so all you need is one person. And if you don't have that person, I will be that person. I promise you, I will be that person. Because if there's one thing I do know, is just that having at least one person to just be like, hey, how now? Are you doing this? How are you? It feels good. It feels really good. Definitely try to find ways that you're able to practice self-awareness. These are just some of the ways I've been able to practice self-awareness. You can find ways in regards to practicing self-awareness. I do the gratitude journal. You can find another way. If you have another way, comment below, because I am open to new ways. I'm trying to learn. So if you got some other ways, go ahead and put it down in the comment section. I promise you I'm going to read them. I read everything. I promise you I will. Next one, in regards to something that has impacted my journey while becoming a better version of myself, is the same thoughts run in my head constantly. Just constantly running the same thoughts through my head. It can be very, very, very draining. Because what I do is I dwell on my current problem. So if I have a current issue that I'm going through or something, I tend to dwell on it, or I was dwelling on it to the point where it impacted me trying to find any solution, because at that point I was just dwelling on the problem. I was just figuring out, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done this and this wouldn't have happened, type stuff. Like, that's what's running through my head. I'm thinking about that instead of trying to find solutions to my problem. And as an overthinker, that's something that you do naturally. It just comes naturally. You don't even realize that you're doing it sometimes. I don't, at least. Especially when it's like something that's like huge for me. It's just like, oh man, I shouldn't have done this. If I wouldn't have bought this, I would have been able to do this instead. And it's like, wait, what? Girl? Like, the math wasn't mathing. And see, as an overthinker, that's exactly what happens. And then you constantly run it through your head. It's just constantly going through your head. Like, oh man, if I would have done this, if I would have walked here, if I would have, just the ifs. It'd be the what ifs. And and instead of running the same thoughts through my head, I found ways to distract myself. And you gotta find out what you like. That's the best way to put it. You find out what you like, and that's how you're able to distract yourself. That's the best way to put it. Maybe there's a better way of doing this, but when it comes to my thoughts and me running the same thoughts through my head, I distract myself. Because if I don't, I just sit there and I dwell on the problems, and I think about what I could have done, what I should have done, or what would have happened if I would have done this. Like, that's what's running through my head. So instead of doing that, I distract myself. And in order to distract myself, I got to find out what I like, so I can distract myself with something I like. And so I've been writing books, or writing a book, I should say. I've been writing a script. I might get into Legoing. Who knows? I've been looking at the Lego figures and stuff, and I might get into that. Who knows? But I'm trying to find different things. I read more. These are just things that I do in the sense of, before I sit there and just dwell on my problems, I try to catch myself. I might slip for like 2-3 minutes, but then I gotta snap back and be like, all right, well, let me go do this instead. And, give myself some time to leave that problem right there, and then I can come back to that problem and try to find solutions. Not dwell on it, but find solutions. And so you got to find something that you like to do, or try different things until you find what you do like. And there are so many things you can try to do to find out what you do like and what you don't like. So just try everything. Just try different things, from cooking, baking, whatever the case may be. Find what you like. Sometimes that helps. Just distracting yourself from the current problem for a few minutes, maybe even a few hours. At least for me, it has helped. And, why not give it a shot? I'm open. If you have any other suggestions for when you got the same thoughts running through your head, just comment them below, because I'm willing to try. But right now, currently, what works for me is distracting myself and not allowing myself to dwell on the problem. I'll come back to it with the solution, or approach it with trying to find solutions. But in the meantime, I'm not going to sit there and dwell on it and run the same thoughts in my head on what I should have done or could have done and all of that. I don't do that. I'm not going to do that. And so I've been doing that by distracting myself. So yeah. And the third thing that I've been struggling with in regards to becoming a better version of myself, and the thing that has impacted it, is just, I take a simple situation and turn it into something that it's not. I do that constantly. That one, woo, the shoe fit. That one I definitely do. I would say that if there's a small issue, I would literally turn it into something that's not. But I'm starting to understand again, because after reading and just paying attention more, I'm starting to understand that overthinking is just a self-protection mechanism. Trying to protect myself. I didn't realize that. I really didn't realize that. I didn't think of it that way. But what am I protecting myself from? Is the question. Now, it's like, okay, well, what are you protecting yourself from? Just like if you're an overthinker and you've experienced some of these things, You're probably protecting yourself. Do you know what from? Because for me, I don't. Another question that comes to mind is just like, what do I overthink about the most? That's another big thing. Like, what do you overthink about the most? Because it might be something that's consistent all around the board. Me, personally, it's common things like finances, work, and even relationships. So these are some of the things that I overthink about. So if you're an overthinker like me, one of the biggest things to do first steps is just trying to pay attention to what you overthink about the most and what triggers you, like things like that you want to pay attention to. Because if you're trying to become the best version of yourself like I am, those things are important. It's important to understand yourself, the way you think, why you think the way you think, why you feel the way you feel. Those things matter. And to me, at the beginning of this, I didn't think that mattered. I really didn't. I didn't think that was important. But I do believe it is important now, because practicing gratitude and self-reflecting, I'm learning a lot about myself. If you're like me and you have that vision board, don't take it as you weren't where you're supposed to be because you made this vision board in January. It is now May and nothing seems to be in place. I feel like that's a part of overthinking too, because just because it's not physically showing or it's not right away, like it's not showing right away, doesn't mean you're not close to your goals. It doesn't mean that you're not taking the right steps. You could be taking the right steps. You have to do what works for you. Because I want productive action. You want productive action. To do that, learn yourself. That's the best way to put it. Learn yourself. And if you've been doing some of these things, if you're an overthinker, try some of the things I mentioned. Try to practice gratitude. Get a gratitude journal. Take time to understand yourself and understand your feelings and what triggers your overthinking, like what makes you overthink, what you overthink about the most, what type of overthinker you are. Those things matter, I feel like. I mean, it's small, it's like, oh, okay. But it's important. I feel like it's important because once you understand yourself, you're able to attack the problem. If you can't figure out or make a decision, try to make that decision and stick to it. That's the best way to put it. Try to make that decision and stick to it. When you got them thoughts running through your head, remember you have a support system. Reach out to somebody that you love and trust. Just let them know, like, hey, I feel like I haven't gotten to where I want to be, things like that. Or whatever the case may be, reach out to your loved one. If those thoughts are running through your head, distract yourself. Because sometimes that helps. And then attack the problem and find a solution. That's when problem solving comes into effect. And then when you have a situation and you make it bigger than what it is, take time to pay attention to what you were overthinking about, what caused you to overthink, why did you blow the situation up, what was it that made you say, all right, this is now from a 1 to a 10. So I hope this video helps you, and gives you some ideas in regards to just attacking those things as far as being an overthinker. So that way we can become the best versions of ourselves. Okay? So as an overthinker, it's challenging, but it's not impossible. And so long as it's possible, we can do it. Overthinker or not. So let's get it. I'll see y'all next time.